Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to LEGO Harry Potter years 1 through 4. Let's continue the story. We may wrap up year 2 in this level, maybe not. There may be 2 levels left. They're going by really quick. So we now have learned we need to follow the trail of the magic spiders that can crawl under doors apparently, or magically crawl through doors. And so that's what we're going to do. There's a lot of open world free play stuff that could still very well be done, but we're not ready for it. Cannot jump over that though. That is one of the things we can't do. So we're following the spiders. We don't particularly know storyline wise why we're following the spiders, but we're following them. The game, you know, it really does fail to tell you the story of Harry Potter in this game. With no voice acting, with no subtitles, with no dialogue at all. You can only get so much from visuals. And while you're getting, I would say maybe 60% of the tale, it's probably only 60% of the movies. I would highly recommend watching the movies first if you haven't seen them, or reading the books. Frankly, I think reading the books first is the best move, because then you can have probably the best experience. I don't think it would be better to watch the movies than read the books. I would say read the books, watch the movies, watch the games, and in that order you would have a declining scale of detail. The books would have probably the most detail. The movies would, of course, be edited down for time, so there'd be less detail there, and then the games are even less details. So the spiders are going this way, but we can't follow. Instead, we need to go this way. Why this guy is the only guy that's like interested in magical animals is a little weird, and it doesn't really connect well to the news story, I would guess, of fantastic beasts and where to find them, because that's going to be about all kinds of magical animals. So maybe that's why Fantastic Beasts and all that takes place in America instead of in the magical land hidden within the Britain, UK. It looks like both of them are in trouble and are getting hauled off to the judge. Alright, so Follow the Spiders is the name of this level. This feels very much like the same level that we had in the first year, with wasps and animals and fang. It shows a lack of creativity, a real severe lack of creativity that the levels are so close to each other. So similar. Alright, so this is a press Y may let you jump to a higher ledge. So we have to come over here and then press Y to get up here. I can only assume what happened here is that there was more than one team, as is typical in video games, and you often see games suffering because of this. You'll have a single team that does half the game, and then a second team that does the other half of the game, and then same concepts will get implemented slightly differently, or completely differently, and it will seem really out of place. It's a lack of communication between departments, I suppose, at the core of it. But it is also one of the ways that is kind of necessary if you want your game to be made in a couple of years versus 5, 6, 7, 8 years, which would be far too long of an amount of time for this game in particular. I imagine even when this game came out, the Harry Potter series had already probably lost a bunch of its fandom and fame. Let's see. There we go. Not that Harry Potter isn't still popular. It's just that there was a time there when it was the biggest thing out there. Before the Marvel movies, I assume, if I was to guess, the Marvel movies were probably the ones that replaced Harry Potter as the bestseller, but it might have been the Lord of the Rings movies. It's also worth mentioning that both Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter were Warner Brothers titles, and TT Games, I think, is a subsidiary of WB, so they tend to cover those properties a little bit more than anything else. So we're playing as the dog and we're barking at everyone. Yeah, we need the light. And then we need to hover these up so they will fly. And then take this and fly across the water. Well, apparently the dog swims. Well, that would have been good to know. I think Harry is stuck far to the left of the screen, and they've simply chosen not to teleport him to where we are, because LEGO games usually don't teleport a character to you. The one way they will do it is if they'll kill the character and then he'll respawn somewhat closer. So here's Ron with a sweater. These fairies are being a pain. The Harry Potter series for a video game also runs into this problem where there really aren't a non-stop flow of enemies, which you kind of need in video games. You need something to break, something to smash. LEGO games have been very good about making the LEGO pieces the enemies in a sense, because they're the thing you can always break and always shoot at, like I am now. But for this story in particular, it's not like there's a non-stop list of trolls or evil creatures of some sort that you could find. So we need Fang back, and that means we're gonna have to move backwards here a little bit. That gets Fang, good. So Harry is still probably far to the left. Again, you could read Harry Potter as this tale written by Hermione Granger and Ron Weasley, and there was no Harry Potter at all. It's just the two of them had these adventures together, and they decided to make a third character and combine their actions and to make this fictional Harry Potter sound even more astounding. Or you could say maybe Harry Potter was the imaginary friend of Ron Weasley. Or Hermione Granger had two imaginary friends of Ron and Harry. Or it's somewhat believable. If I was the editor for J. Kelly Rowling, I would probably, maybe incorrectly, it would be just a matter of style, really. I would probably tell her to limit the number of characters severely, and maybe just hint at some like future side stories with some other characters. I would say, of the three main kids, I would get rid of probably one of them at least. I would probably get rid of Harry too. Yeah, I'd probably get rid of his Muggle parents, step-parents. I would probably cut all those scenes. So I need to do something with the spider. What though? I don't know. Alright, so you lift it up, then you press B again to spin it like the gun names, then you let it go. Alright, I see. I thought the spiders were friends, but apparently not. The hold B to lift it, and then let go of B and tap it again to spin, and is not a good game mechanic. I would really have told him to hold B to lift it, then hold the right trigger or left trigger to make it spin. Using the same B button twice is... I can only assume it's because this game was made for something like the Wii that didn't have triggers or something. Something that just didn't have that many controls. Because it's a poor decision on an Xbox 360 controller or a PlayStation controller. Who's driving the car? Nobody. And then a little motorcycle comes out that I don't believe actually ever existed in the story. And now we get a race section, which is a little surprising there even is a race section. There wasn't one in the first year. This typically they hire out these sections, or at least they have in the past, to a third party company. So it plays completely different. It has no connection to normal LEGO gameplay. Now, I can see why LEGO would want sections like this. LEGO sells a bunch of car kits. Kids love cars. Racing is a fun concept in itself, particularly when you're racing and crashing into things. It just doesn't stick very well to the rest of the gameplay. The vast majority of running around as a minifig and breaking things with your wand. In this case, we're usually by punching him in most games. And I just got caught there. So I can hit buttons. We can hit Y and switch to Harry. And it certainly feels really different playing on this little motorcycle. Undoubtedly there's some collectibles in this section that I'm missing. There almost always is. And often in these earlier Lego games, you end up having to play the whole level through a couple times because you missed some collectible in the race section. They could have easily put Lego pumpkins there, and they chose not to. That seems a little lazy. I imagine they just had so much that they had to cover with the 7 years that they really needed to rush it out and try. Is it a Gorgon? Is that what that creature is called? It might be called a Gorgon. It might be called something else. Basilisk. I think it's called a basilisk, yeah. Gorgons or something else, yeah. So, that was another 15 minutes. These levels are incredibly short. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps out. If you want to support me further, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right there's a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want a friend to follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.